Joe Biden once again proved he is one of the most transparently phony politicians in the country. Biden, representing the Democrat Party, which is set for a referendum in November, tried to paint his party as one of law and order all of a sudden, after Democrats spent 2020 destroying policing and sacrificing the lives of thousands of inner-city black kids for political gain. And what a difference 2 years makes. After a few years off, pro-cop Joe Biden is apparently back. And he's here to tell you that cops are the greatest thing in the world, and this country needs thousands more of them.
When it comes to public safety in this nation, the answer is not defund the police, it's fund the police. We expect them to do everything. I'm tired of not giving the kind of help they need. Increased trust makes policing more effective.
What a change, right? Biden wants to add more than 100,000 cops to handle crime in big blue cities, which are effectively lawless at this point. You see the stories, we show them to you all the time. Imagine Joe Biden giving that speech 18 months ago, back when his radical fringe of his party told us that all cops do is hunt black people for sport and we won't be safe until there are no more police in this country. Rhetoric that Biden and other so-called moderate Democrats refused to push back on at all. Here was Biden during the campaign back in 2020, the de facto leader of his party at the time.
I never had to tell my daughter, if she's pulled over, make sure she puts, for a traffic stop, put both hands on top of the wheel and don't reach for the glove box because someone may shoot you. But a black parent, no matter how wealthy or how poor they are, has to teach their child, when you're walking down the street, don't have a hoodie on when you go across the street. Making sure that you, in fact, if you get pulled over, just yes, sir, no, sir, hands on top of the wheel.
Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. The truth is, Democrats have used up all of the value of defund the police. Race pandering is getting them no more political traction, and the rampant crime that they've inspired is now hurting them. Even the most staunch liberals are awakening to the fact that the ridiculous political response to the death of George Floyd has led to thousands more dead young black men in inner cities. There's no other way to see it. So now we have the course correction, right? Now mainstream Democrats are pro-police again. Pro-law and order. And Biden is starting to sound a lot more like he did back in the 1990s.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street.
Can you believe that's the same person? That's the current president of the United States. That was the real Joe Biden 30-something years ago. And today we saw a flash of the real Joe Biden as well, the moderate Democrat that Democrats thought they had voted for. You know it was the real Biden, too, because he told a very weird, off-colored, and kind of racist story as his handlers hyperventilated into paper bags just off camera.
What he used to do is go down on the east side, what's called the bucket, highest crime rate in the country. The only white guy that worked as a lifeguard. You can always tell where the best basketball in the state is and the best basketball in the city is. The police used to be in the car. We went from having enough cops on the street to cities doing well and then deciding they don't need more police officers.
That's Joe Biden off script. Can you fathom if Trump had told that story? But he didn't, so it will get zero media coverage, of course. But weird Biden story aside, on law and order, Biden and Democrats are done destroying this country for political gain. They've created a crisis that now needs to be fixed. We're used to that. And it appears that process can finally begin now that Democrats have decided there is political value again to law and order, which of course is great news for inner city families. Your life now has meaning again. It's more politically valuable to Joe Biden for your children to live than it is for them to die. Their sacrifice to the Black Lives Matter cause is no longer necessary. In the months before the 2020 election, the Democrat agenda was painfully clear. Take a generally safe country and devolve it into chaos in order to remove Donald Trump from the White House. Democrats had already spent years calling Trump a racist and a white supremacist, so it was easy to do. Regardless, Trump's popularity was improving in the black community, if you watch the numbers. Many of them turned off by the generally insulting tone of Democrats who view African Americans as perpetual victims in a voter base that they think can be bought with racial pandering and promises of more government welfare. Trump's growing popularity with black voters represented an existential threat to the Democrat Party, so Democrats, of course, panicked. And suddenly the party began aligning itself with neo-Marxist groups like Black Lives Matter. That's how much they panicked, which exploit every negative interaction between police and black Americans for political and financial gain. They completely ignore all other interactions, including the same kind of interactions between police and white people. That's what they do. When career criminal George Floyd died under Derek Chauvin's knee, Democrats amplified fringe, radical left-wing rhetoric and threw the entire country into a race war, simply as a means of pushing Trump out of the White House and regaining power. Democrats intentionally and unemotionally did this to your society, and they cheered it on. Liberal mayors marched with BLM during the day and watched the same protesters turn to looters and burn their city at night. It was reparations, we were told, and by the fall of 2020, your country was unrecognizable. Fauci had taken away all your freedoms during COVID, and the Democrat Party destroyed your sense of safety for politics, and this country was a hellhole going into the November election. And the new politically useful tool for Democrats is now cleaning up the mess that they made.